Okay, now there's going to be some problems where they say they let you know which quadrant it is using inequalities. For example, let's look at these four quadrants. Quadrant 1 is actually between 0 and pi over 2, the angle, okay? So we would call that theta is less than or equal to pi over 2 and greater than 0. And then quadrant 2, this is pi over here. So they might say theta is less than pi over 2. Sorry, let's undo that one because that's not going to be true. It's going to be less than pi, but greater than or equal to pi over 2. And then if they want to tell us about the third quadrant, so this is 3 pi over 2, then they might say, oh, they're just going to tell you that, hey, theta is less than 3 pi over 2, but it's greater than or equal to pi, or something like the equal just can go on either one. It just depends. But basically, when they give you that, that means, hey, we're in quadrant 3. And same with the fourth quadrant, that would be, we'll do black. So theta could be less than 0. Actually, that would have to be 2 pi, I think, since we're going big. So theta is less than 2 pi, greater than or equal to 3 pi over 2. Okay, so just so you know that this is how we name the quadrants using inequalities. So let's look at an example of a problem. Oh, here we go. All right, this is the clue. Your first clue is the secant is negative 7 over 3. Oops. Let's go with yellow. All right. And theta is between pi over 2 and pi. And we're supposed to find the tangent and the sine. All right, so looking at our clues, if the secant is negative 7 over 3, the reciprocal is the one we care about, at least for me. I know that the cosine is x over r. So if the secant is negative 7 over 3, that means the cosine is negative 3 over 7, x equals 3 or negative 3, and y equals 7 or negative 7. So we have to figure out which quadrant we're in first. And between pi over 2 and pi, that means we're in quadrant 3. Okay, so quadrant 3 is negative cosine. So we're going to have negative 3, and we don't know what y is, but we know that cosine is x over r. And so since it's in quadrant 3, we want a negative 3 and a positive r. And that's how we decide two of our values. And now if we need to find y, we can using the Pythagorean theorem right here. But let's see. Yeah, oh, we sure do. Because tangent is going to be y over x, and sine is going to be y over r. So we definitely need to find y. So once we get our quadrant figured out and which one is negative, so we've got this, now we can use the Pythagorean theorem to do our negative 3 squared plus y squared equals 7 squared. Subtract the 9, and we get y squared equals 40. So square rooting that, y is going to be the square root of 40. We're going to take the positive because it's in quadrant 2. And I'm going to simplify that as to the square root of 4 times the square root of 10, or 2 times the square root of 10. Okay, so I'm going to put that on my diagram. Now I can just find the tangent. Okay, so the tangent is going to be y over r. So that's 2 times the square root of 10 over 7. And they want the sine. Sorry, I did that backwards. So sorry. Let's get this right, because the tangent is y over x. And so I hopefully you were going in your head, Marge, I just got this figured out. Sorry about that if I confused you. All right, so this is y over x. So we want a negative 3. And the final answer, we'll put that negative up. So I'm going to put it equals negative 2 radical 10 over 3. That just makes it so we don't lose that negative. All right, now we'll do the sine. which is the y over the r, which is 2 radical 10 over 7, and there's our answer there. Okay. Okay. And we're going to stop this because the next section is 5.4 identities, and that is just a little bit different. So let's take a pause right now and back for more.